Hello Captains, it's me, TONIK TZW. Yes, I'm here in the Plymouth again. I've been abusing it, but I've had a lot of good feedback from other captains who also love this ship, and so we took it out. This one's called Ship of Fools. Don't be this kind of special, and there's a reason that I'm saying don't be this kind of special, because we have a division on our team. I'm not going to mention names, you can see who they are there, who decided to split tiers in a division and get their backsides dragged up into a tier 7 match. Let's get into this game, shall we? I am sure you can probably already hear the disappointment in my voice at this one. Myself and the Tirpitz are on the weak flank, but we are going to get pushed massively hard on this. And unfortunately, this is going to turn into a high damage game. It's going to be a good tactical game. It taught me a little bit more about how to play the ship and things that can be of a benefit to me. But unfortunately, we're going to lose our only destroyer very early in the game because the two guys in division that spawned with him decided that they weren't going to support him, that they were just going to go and stack on the corner of a rock. And one of those guys is going to cost me a medal, but it's also my own distraction that is going to cost me a medal. We've got 4 ships here, and I'm thinking, we've only got 2 ships on this flank. I'm spotted. What do I do here? This zoomer is going to be a royal pain in the backside. Let me just say he is going to finish top for his team. There's no way I can hold against the Azuma, the Cheshire, the Nelson, and potentially the Baltimore with just myself and this Tirpitz. I'm going to be reliant on this Tirpitz, hoping that he will take out the Azuma. How wrong could I have been? Well, it's not going to be as wrong as this Cheshire, and we're shortly going to lose our destroyer there on B-Cap, because he is going to take an absolute boatload of citadels and disappear from the game. That is him gone. We don't get first blood, and he's also not going to get a kill. But look across there, there is a madness charging straight through the middle of B-Cap, and look at the dispersion of our team. Everybody is just stacked on one corner. Now, they only have 2 ships against them on Charlie Cap, but they're not going to push that cap. And I decide that I need to do something about this madness if I can, whilst kiting away, hoping that the Tirpitz will take care of some things as we lose another ship. That's the cruiser that I think pushed forward on Charlie Cap on his own, while everybody else sat back and watched him commit suicide. Yeah, I'm already up to 30k damage. I've already got a kill. Yes, I have upgraded the reload mod on this ship to legendary. That is going to give me an extra 5% damage for every kill that I get. Now, the Azuma is still out there full health, and I'm thinking, come on, Tirpitz, get some shots on this guy. He is going to take some damage. I'm hard spotted again. It is the madness. There's also the Baltimore. We've got nothing in the middle of the map. We're getting pushed hard straight through the center. We're getting pushed hard on our right flank, and these guys are doing absolutely nothing that's visible to help. Now, that was a random torpedo spread. I could have potentially waited for the madness to be spotted again, but I'm going to continue to kite away and try and reel on this guy as best as I can. I want to be outside of his secondary range. You'll notice in the last few days there's been a lot of ships in that are running full secondary builds. That's probably down to the mission that requires people to get 500 secondary hits. So you need to stay away from them. And I'm going to continue to open this gap. I'm going to continue to kite away. I'm feeling slightly guilty because I've left that Tirpitz behind me. But I'm just hoping that he can take care of the Azuma. And I will try to take care of things in the center of the map. The madness goes behind the island, rolling his smoke, but he does take a torpedo. I'm still hard spotted from somewhere. It's not the Baltimore because he's behind an island. I'm playing risky, giving up a broadside here. We've got another cruiser there charging through the middle of the map. Again, he's gone in on his own, completely unsupported. We are feeding ships to red team one at a time. And the guys that are potentially in communication, the guys that are able to talk to each other, they are the ones that are sitting back. It's an absolute shambles. Now, we get the Madness spotted again. He is low health from taking that torpedo. We are going to get our shots onto him, but we're going to take an absolutely nasty tap on the backside from somewhere behind us. I think it might be the Baltimore, but I'm trying to rail on this Madness. These shells are very floaty at long range. There's that big hit. Takes about a third of my health off me, and so I decide to switch to the Baltimore, but I should have stayed on that Madness. That is going to cost me later in the game. But that was our wonderful tier 5 ship picking up a very low health kill for what was probably worth all of about 200 hit points. But we're going to stay on the Baltimore. We're running our smoke. We get a kill there. Should I have finished him before rolling my smoke? Potentially. I could have saved a smoke screen there. But we are going to look for the next target. You're going to see me getting incredibly frustrated because the guys across there on sea are going to form themselves a bit of a lemming train, and I'm going to be pinging the map and say, you know, look, push back through the center, but they're not going to. Those guys are fixated on where the carrier was last spotted. They're going to camp behind that island on the bottom end of sea, and I decide that, you know, excuse me, I'm just going to try and do what I can and make the most of this game. I've had to kite away while taking care of the Madness, while taking care of the Baltimore, but red team is still controlling the caps, and I need to get back into the game. And that ping on the map there is literally pleading with these guys to turn in, to push the caps and to do something. It's an impossible task. It's like herding cats. It's like talking to a brick wall, which is a thing my mum used to say when I was a kid. You know, talking to you is like talking to a brick wall, because a lot of the time I didn't listen because I was engrossed in a book or occasionally a video game. Again, we're pinging the map. Come on, guys, turn in. We are losing because we don't control the capture points. And then my worst nightmare appears, a full health Nelson. I don't have a smoke screen available, so I'm going to wait until I'm turned out a little bit and continue that turn, and we're going to try and rail onto this Nelson. The build I'm running on this ship with Andrew the Lip gives me additional AP damage for every consecutive AP hit, and that makes a huge difference. We've got an extra 10% AP damage. We've got a reduction in our reload. When we hit 120%, there we go, we're up to an 8% reload reduction. He's disappeared. He's behind the island. He's going to come out though. He's going to come out round the corner of that island, and one of the bits of advice that I received was to try and play a little bit more aggressively. Excuse me while I take a sip of my tea. Now, I expect that Nelson to turn into me when I start firing, and it looks like that is what he's doing. He is pushing out. Probably knows the carrier's out here. He definitely knows that I'm out here. He does take some fire from the other flank, but looking at the minimap, that support is nowhere near good enough, and we are absolutely chunking on this guy. He does a full send on me. My shots are going to start to drift as I'm starting to waggle the tail of this ship. We're almost up to 150,000 here, and that is going to max us out with a minus 10% reduction on our reload. But he has kept sailing in a straight line, which means that those torpedoes are going to miss him. We're going to roll our smoke screen, and he is going to become target fixated on the carrier, I think, as we lose yet another ship. That is Red Team's carrier, I think, was taking care of that one. Those guys are chasing shadows. The destroyer is very obviously behind them on that cap, so the one cap that they did manage to take, they haven't managed to do anything from there. It's myself, the carrier, and one ship. The Azuma picks himself up a high caliber, which I think I picked up at 114,000 damage, and now I'm bouncing a lot of shells off this Nelson, but he is going to go out. That's a 15% increase in damage, 10% reduction in my reload. Yeah, we're too far back on the map. We've been pushed so hard, but if there's anything that I learned in this match, it was how to kite this ship a little bit better. We're going to push in because with the two of us, I don't know where our carrier finishes in this game, but his movement back to the right here is a little bit of a mistake. I don't know what he was thinking, but I'm guessing it's because we didn't know where the ships were. But he is the carrier, he knows where red team are, and in closing up to this side of the map, yes, he is getting his planes into action quicker, but he's also putting himself at risk. The next bit of gameplay, I decide I'm going to have to push in because there's a good chance, seeing where the destroyer was last spotted, that he's going to come out here against the carrier. I don't have smoke available anymore. I do have my sonar available, and I'm thinking that should give me some protection from torpedoes. I don't know how much health is left on the Azuma. You know, literally, I'm living on a prayer here. I'm hoping that something has been done to these guys to make it easier for me to try and get some kills and get onto the caps. The clock is ticking down, and watching this video back before I did the replay, this is the point that I feel I should have made a change to how I was playing, because I am spotted. I put a set of torpedoes out there. The destroyer's got me spotted, and then there is the Azuma, who, sorry, not the Azuma, the Azuma, but I get the carrier spotted, and this is where I think I should have played differently, because the destroyer is there as well. There are torpedoes coming my way, so the sonar did its thing. I'm going to be able to get a shot onto the DD there, but I didn't have him locked. And I really think I should have pushed in there and taken care of that destroyer. Try to get around those torpedoes and then try to turn and get my torpedoes on the Azuma. But I couldn't remember if the Azuma had torpedoes as well. So would I have been putting myself at risk? Instead, I've turned my attention to the carrier. I'm thinking I'm already past my best damage total. I know that I'm probably going to have a good base XP score at the end of this game, so I'm just going to take what I can for it. But our carrier here has stopped, even though the DD and the Azuma are spotted here. But this Akatsuki is going to make the mistake that's going to cost him a ship, because with 2 salvos we're going to dispatch him, and that is him dead. Why the carrier came this way, I don't know. I'm switching my attention to the Azuma. I'm angling Azuma again. No, it's the Azuma, and I'm thinking I can break 200k here. But look at the points and look at the clock. He kills the carrier. That gives red team the 1,000 points that they need for the win. There was still a minute and a half left on the clock there. I think, given that minute and a half, I might have been able to win that game for blue team. All we needed was a capture point. All we needed was some support for the destroyer and somebody not to bring a field division into the game. What's that? We're just under 2,400 base XP there, and I think, given that minute and a half, we could have pulled the victory, and that could have been another 4k plus game. What's shocking to see is that tier 5 cruiser beat 3 other ships, one of which was the destroyer, who he didn't support at the beginning. So if you feel sorry for me in that one, if you appreciate the gameplay, if you appreciate I set that I new personal best damage record, then smash the like button, leave me a comment, and let me know how sorry you do feel for me. And if you've got any more tips, leave them in the comments as well. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.